until I found someone who laughs like you.
Okay, well that was a fail. I was trying to be creative and artsy and like have them all stack up like this, but that didn't happen. Anyway, welcome to book club number 2. We got the books, we got the snacks. The camera died, but we're back. So I have a whole bunch of books that I finished reading that I'm gonna go over and tell you my thoughts on them, which probably aren't very many because I suck at reiterating like how I feel about books. I'm just like, it's good. It's really good. But yeah, we'll try. And then I'm gonna talk about the ones and show the ones that I have on like my reading list for the summer. Alright, yeah, that's what a book club is. Okay. So, number 1, it is Stephen King's It. This took me forever. This bad boy right here. Not just because it's like a big book, because, okay, it's big. It's 1,150 pages, about that. Where, like, I'll read a book that's like 400 pages in like 10 days a week. So, it's not just because it was big, it was just, I'm like this with everything, with movies, with books. I'm gonna set you guys here. With movies, with books, if I am watching it, I have to like continue to watch it all the way through. Not movies, sorry, TV shows, like on Netflix. I can't like watch a TV show and then like go back to it. So for example, on Netflix, when there's seasons or series like Stranger Things or Riverdale, I love the first few seasons because I'm like binge watching it and so into it and like watch it every day. But then when it's like a year and then the next season comes out, I kind of lose interest. So that's how I am with books as well. So I think I stopped reading it because I was going back to school and it was hard to like read my textbooks and do all my assignments plus read this for leisurely fun. This book I was finishing and someone had recommended to me Stephen King's Bag of Bones, so I went and bought it even though I still needed to finish this one because I have a spending problem. Anyways, I bought it and I was on the bus and I didn't have it with me because this one, so that's the thing too, when I'm in school I like to, I'll bring my book so I can read it on my bus, like on my commute to school, but this one's so big that it's like so extra to carry around on the bus. But anyways, so I didn't have this one with me, but I had this one because I just bought it. So I was like, oh, I'm bored, let me read chapter 1. Read chapter 1, loved it, and then I can't, and I'm the same way with like Netflix TV shows, I can't watch like or read some like more than one book at a time. I have to finish the one book and then go on to the next one. Same with Netflix shows, I can't be watching like 5 different shows at once. It bothers me to have them all and like my continued watching. I have to finish one thing. So yeah, that pushed me to finish it. So I loved the book. Definitely took me way too long to read it, but I loved it. It obviously, like all books, has so much more detail than the movie. So I did also see the movie, and that was another thing that like pushed me to finish this because I didn't want to see the movie until I finished the book. I think I ended up seeing the movie anyways before I finished the book. But I'm pretty sure, if I can remember, the movie is just based on when they're kids. The book has when they're adults and they're children. And the book's just so much more detail and so much better. Actually, now that I think about it, I think I did wait to see the movie. Didn't see it in theaters, I saw it after. Anyways, book always better, I find, than the movies, but yeah, just especially with Stephen King, there's so much detail. So it kind of like misses out on things. Even, so for example, I also just watched Pet Sematary recently, and I loved that movie, but like I want the book now. I don't have it. I'm definitely gonna get it once I'm done all of my other ones, but I just think that the book, like in the movie I could see where the book would have so much more detail, where you would like learn more about that neighbor, I can't remember the name, the neighbor and his wife. I feel like you'd learn more about that story there. You'd also learn about the little creature that's in the woods in that movie. And yeah, just so much more detail. But Okay, I don't know how many times I'm gonna say the same thing over and over again. I liked that book. I also really liked, so then after, once I finished that one, I did start reading Bag of Bones. Another Stephen King one, what I like is this one, it's also based in Derry, Maine, and obviously everyone knows the story of Pennywise and It. That one's also Derry, Maine. So this one is also Derry, Maine. And this one is about a man and his wife dies suddenly, and he finds out that she's living like a second secret life. He finds out she was pregnant, and then just all these other different secrets. So I'll read the back. So, a tale of grief, of love's enduring bonds, and the haunting secrets of the past. 4 years after the sudden death of his wife, 40-year-old best-selling novelist Mike Noonan is unable to write and plagued by vivid memories set at the Maine summer house he calls Sarah Laughs. Mike reluctantly returns to the lakeside getaway and finds his beloved Yankee town held in the grip of vindictive millionaire Max Devour, who is trying to take his 3-year-old granddaughter away from her widowed young mother, Maddie. As Mike is drawn into Maddie's struggle and begins to fall in love with her, he is also drawn into the mystery of Sarah Laughs, now the site of ghostly visitations and escalating terrors. What do the forces that have been unleashed here want of Mike Noonan? Rude people. Don't you know? I'm talking to myself, my camera. So that was a good one. I recommend it. See, this is what I mean. Like, that's all I can say. It's like, it's good. I recommend it. What's funny is a lot of the books I've been reading lately are about, like, drowning in water. So this has something obviously to do with, like, drowning in water. There's the cover of the lake, the Sarah Laughs little cottage that they owned. This one here, after I read this one, I'm reading this one right now. This is not what I read right after. I read this one after, but I'll explain that one after. But this one, and now I'm reading this one are all about, like, dying in the water in lakes. So just wanted to make that random connection, don't know why. Alright, so my next book that I started reading after The Bag of Bones was this, I'm Thinking of Ending Things. This one was also recommended to me by a friend. I don't like this book. I would not recommend it, so there you go, something different. But when I first started reading it, it sounded interesting, so I'm like, sure. And it's like small, only 300 pages I want to say. Not even 200 and something, 210 pages. So it's pretty small, and yeah, it sounded pretty interesting, so I'll read the back. It says, something very wrong is happening here. Jake and I have a real connection, a rare and intense attachment. I'm going to meet his parents for the first time, at the same time as I'm thinking of ending things. Jake once said, you can say anything, you can do anything, but you can't fake a thought. And here's what I'm thinking. I don't want to be here. I'm thinking of ending things. A woman embarks on a road trip with her new boyfriend. Doubts about the relationship claw at the back of her mind. An unexpected detour unravels into nightmare. In his acclaimed debut, Ian Reid explores the darkest depths of the human... Oh my god, I can't read this sentence. Ian Reid explores the darkest depths of the human psyche, confronting the value we find in relationships and the limitations of solitude. Spellbinding and taut, this novel will haunt you long after the last page is turned. That is false. I didn't understand the ending, so my friend that recommended this, she's also reading it on, like, she has Audible or some kind of, like, online book, so I said, read that, let me know if you understand the ending, because I have no idea. I don't get the ending. It wasn't shocking, it wasn't, like, I still don't understand, so I don't know how to explain it to you guys, but I did not like it. The beginning of the book, I also was reading it and I'm like, I don't think I like this. It was too, like, simple. I don't know if this is, like, meant for teens and that's why. But I also, yeah, I don't remember where I picked it up, like, in what section. I think it was just fiction. I have no idea, but I didn't like it. Yeah, it says fiction there. Do they all say that? Like, fiction? Because it said on this and then say fiction's right there. Anyways, didn't like it, don't recommend it, but so yeah, at first I hated it, then I liked it, and I was like, okay, yeah, because I was going to return it, and then I was like, no, it's okay, maybe the ending's good, and I also don't want to, like, not know what happens in the end, so I kept it, and then I was like, yep, my first thoughts were right, it wasn't good. What I didn't like about it, one thing I didn't like about it was the writing, like the grammar or the sentence structure. There were tons of periods, and that throws me off because then the way I'm reading it, it's just very choppy and not put together. But I don't know. So I hated it, liked it, then hated it. Just if a friend has this book and you want to borrow it, it's not fine, like whatever, 210 pages, pretty quick, but it's not worth $30. $25? Yeah. Anyways, that's my thoughts on that one. It's basically about like a girl and a guy, and the girl's thinking about ending things, and then she has like some kind of stalker, and then his family ends up being very weird. He ends up being very weird. They go and visit his family in this like rural area, and they stop at this school, and it's dark, and I don't know. Wasn't my thing. But then I read Into the Water. It was 386 pages, so not very long. But this one is the same writer as Paula Hawkins. It's Paula Hawkins, the same writer, author, as The Girl on the Train, which was in my last book club, which I absolutely loved this book. And so this one here, exactly the same, did not let me down. I want to see if she has even more books. I don't know if she does. I think that it's just the two, Girl on the Train and then this one. But such a good writer. I love how in her books it's not really chapters. She'll have like part 1, part 2, part 3, and then it's the people, like each of the characters, like just their narrative of the story and what's going on. I don't think anything in this book is predictable. This one, no, that wasn't really predictable because it was a shitty ending. But this one I'm like reading right now, because I've done this one, it is kind of like, I don't know, just kind of like cheesy, predictable kind of writing. I hate saying it because I'm only like chapter 9 right now, so maybe it'll get better. How many pages are there in this one? 386, and I'm on page 60, so it's not like, I feel like that's too, I can't judge just yet. It's okay, but I feel like the writing is just not like suspenseful, and although I do want to like, I'm like, oh, what actually happened? Like I don't know, I don't have any guesses or can't predict what happened, but this one here, it's just like so unpredictable and twists and turns and plot twists. That's the same thing, but yeah. So yeah, I recommend this one, as I've said a million times about every single book. Well, not really, because I didn't recommend the other one, but this one was really good. Oh, I should probably read it. So, secrets can pull you under. A single mother turns up dead at the bottom of the river that runs through town. Earlier in the summer, a teenage girl met the same fate. They are not the first woman to lose these... Oh my goodness. They are not the first woman lost to these dark waters, but their deaths dredge up secrets long submerged. Left behind is a lonely 15-year-old girl, suddenly in the care of an aunt she's never met, a woman who has been dragged back to the place she deliberately ran from, a place to which she vowed she'd never return. With the same propulsive writing and acute understanding of human instincts that captivated millions of readers around the world in her explosive debut thriller, The Girl on the Train, Paula Hawkins delivers an urgent, twisting, deeply satisfying read that hinges on the deceptiveness of emotion and memory, as well as the devastating ways that the past can reach a long arm into the present. Beware a calm surface, you never know what lies beneath. Kind of like me. It is basically about a drowning, it's called the Drowning Pool, a river, a lake, where people, a lot of women have gone to jump off of to end their lives. And there's like debates about the history, because I think it goes back to 18 or 16 something. So at the very beginning it tells you, it gives you like a little, the people of Beckford, which is the town. Which, by the way, I love those two names, Beck and Ford, as names. Anyways, okay. That's not what we're talking about right now. But yeah, so it tells you, and then it will say, like, what they are. So, Nell is whose sudden death was where it all began. Katie Whitaker, Lena's best friend, she drowned in 2015. Libby, she drowned in 1679, drowned in 1920, drowned in 1983. So, yeah, it gives like telling you who the characters are. Yeah, so all those women have gone in and either it's suspected that either they did drown by like jumping themselves, or there's thought that they had been pushed, or it's been a murder. So there's the police, I don't know, there was a forensic show that it was self-inflicted, but then there was ones that there's just people, like there's the psychic who's like, no, they did not jump themselves, they were murdered, and no one listens to her because she's crazy. And yeah, anyways, it's very good. I hope I did not make that sound horrible, because I have a tendency to like not know what I'm talking about and butcher things, but that was a good book and I recommend it. The next book, I'm reading this one now, Let Me Lie. I decided to read this one now because I was reading the back and it's kind of similar. So like I said before, with all like the water and the drowning, so I'll read the back. This is, the police say it was suicide, Anna says it was murder. They're both wrong. Last year, Tom and Caroline Johnson chose to end their lives, one seemingly unable to live without the other. Their daughter, Anna, is struggling to come to terms with her parents' deaths, unwilling to accept the verdict of suicide. Now with the baby herself, Anna feels her mother's absence keenly and is determined to find out what really happened to her parents. But as she digs up the past, someone is trying to stop her. Sometimes it's safer to let things lie. So, Let Me Lie. Cliff, I guess. So far it's okay. It's not like, oh my goodness, like I can't wait to get home and read the rest of my book. Not yet, hopefully soon. I also don't like how, so the mom is talking in this one. She's in between lives right now. Like she's not in heaven or wherever afterlife, and she's not in the real world. She's just in between. So she is talking, but they don't tell you that it's her talking. All they do is like italicize the writing. So at first I'm like, who is talking? I guess obviously you catch on after a bit, but it's kind of annoying. Like I wish, because they put other people's names, like Anna. Like why would they not put that Caroline's talking? Anyways, that's a small minor thing that bothers me. So yeah, this has been okay. I guess it's kind of just basically about finding out whether it's suicide or murder. I don't really understand if they're both wrong, what it could be. This one here was also kind of insinuating that it was like a witchcraft for a while. So maybe kind of similar thing, like maybe it was, I don't know, but we'll find out. So far it's okay. I can't really like say whether I'd recommend it or not. Alright, so then after that, I don't know why I brought this one here, because I'm pretty sure I read this already, and I think I already reviewed this in my last book club, the breakdown. Maybe I didn't, I don't know. Oh, there's the mosquito. It bit me last night. You see? Yeah, I don't know why I have this one here. I think I reviewed it. It was okay. So, and maybe, anyways, it's good that I have it here, because this is the next one I'm going to read after, Behind Closed Doors. So same author as well. I think I did like this because I was like, oh, Behind Closed Doors, that sounds, I'll get that one too, because it's the same thing with like The Girl on the Train. I got into the water because I liked Girl on the Train. So Behind Closed Doors, haven't read it yet, it'll be probably next. This one, I'll read the back. So everyone knows a couple like Jack and Grace. He has looks and wealth, she has charm and elegance. He's a dedicated attorney who has never lost a case. She's a flawless homemaker, a masterful gardener, and a cook, and dotes on her disabled younger sister. Though they are still newlyweds, they seem to have it all. You might not want to like them, but you do. You're hopelessly charmed by the ease and comfort of their home, by the graciousness of the dinner parties they throw. You like to get to know Grace better, but it's difficult because you realize Jack and Grace are inseparable. Some might call this true love. Others might wonder why Grace never answers the phone, or why she can never meet for coffee, even though she doesn't work. how she can cook such elaborate meals but remain so slim, or why she never seems to take anything with her when she leaves the house, not even a pen. Okay, but like, why not even a pen? Why not even her phone, or not even her wallet? Okay. Or why there are such high security metal shutters on all the downstairs windows. Some might wonder what's really going on once the dinner party is over and the front door has closed. So it sounds mysterious and intriguing. Can't say much more on that about that because I haven't read it yet, but seems like a good one. I also have Stephen King's The Shining to read, and like I said, I also want to get Pet Sematary to read because Stephen King's such a good author, and The Shining, I only got this because, again, so my friend that recommended that I am thinking of anything, she's into she's into murder, she's into horror like I am, so she loves Stephen King's The Shining, and I told her I don't like Stephen King's The Shining that much. I think that the twins are creepy, the red room, which I also thought was red rum for the longest time. Anyways, because yeah, I thought it was just like not red room, like it's just murder backwards, so you don't say it like red room because that's not what it's meant to be. Anyways, yeah, she really likes this book or this movie, and I'm like, oh, I'm not like into the movie, but maybe I'll like the book because I usually like books better than movies. The movie was just a little like dry for me. I also haven't watched it in a really long time, so maybe I will like it. I'll go back to it. Another Stephen King movie I didn't like was that 1922 one, I think it's called, on Netflix. I didn't like that, but Gerald's Game was really good. And I just recently found out, because I didn't know this, but Shawshank Redemption, it's called, is Stephen King as well, and I loved that movie. But anyways, back to The Shining. If you don't know what The Shining is about, I'll just read the back. So Jack Torrance's new job at the Overlook Hotel is the perfect chance for a fresh start. As the off-season caretaker at the atmospheric old hotel, he'll have plenty of time to spend reconnecting with his family and working on his writing. But as the harsh winter sets in, the idyllic location feels ever more remote and more sinister, and the only one to notice the strange and terrible forces gathering around the Overlook is Danny Torrance, a uniquely gifted 5-year-old. So yeah, we'll see. That one will be just after Behind Closed Doors. I also bought this book here, A Serial Killer's Daughter. My Story of Hope, Love, and Overcoming, Carrie Rawson, the daughter of the BTK killer. I really have no idea about the BTK killer. I just got it because I think it was on sale, to be honest, and I love true crime. Another book I was looking at recently was Anne Rule's book, Ted Bundy, because of the movie. I listened to Wine and Crime podcast, and they did a podcast, and they talked about, like, they reviewed the movie on Netflix with the Wickedly Evil File, whatever, with Zac Efron. He is yummy. But I thought the movie was great until I listened to that podcast, and they left out so much detail of that movie, so then it makes me want to like read the book Anne Rule wrote, but it's probably as big as Stephen King's It, and I have all these other books to read, so I didn't buy it yet. But if you want to, podcast Wine and Crime, I don't know what episode it was, looks like this. If you want to listen to it, they talk in detail about the movie and the real like crimes and stuff, and it's just crazy how like much they left out. But anyways, so I like true crime, so I just thought that since it was on sale, it looked pretty interesting. Just the thoughts of the crimes and stuff as like the daughter, on her perspective, yeah, thought it would be good. But if I don't know about the BTK killer. The back doesn't really say. It just says, I was a good man who just did bad things. The BTK killer. I don't know. I guess just search the BTK killer. I should have probably done that before I started doing this, so I could give you guys some insight. And then, once I am done all of those books, I'm going to start the Harry Potter series. So I have book number 1 from my sister. I borrowed it like probably 2 years ago, and I haven't read it yet, but I'm going to do the whole series. They had them at Costco. I think it was like $60 for the whole thing. I should probably just get that myself, but I feel like I also know a lot of people that have them, so I can just borrow them. Also, my thing I like to do is go to chapters and just sit there and have Starbucks and read and not pay for the books, because books are damn expensive, and I have textbooks to buy when I'm in school. But anyways, that's it for the book club for today.